Life and Death of the Mayor of Casterbridge by Thomas Hardy. One evening of late summer, before the 19th century had reached 1/3 of its span, a young man and woman, the latter carrying a child, were approaching the large village of Weydon Priors in Upper Wessex on foot. They were plainly but not ill-clad, though the thick hoard of dust which had accumulated on their shoes and garments from an obviously long journey lent a disadvantageous shabbiness to their appearance. The man was a fine figure, swarthy and stern in aspect. The woman enjoyed no society whatever from his presence. Virtually she walked the highway alone, save for the child she was carrying. That the man and woman were husband and wife, and the parents of the girl in arms, there could be little doubt. No other than such relationship would have accounted for the atmosphere of stale familiarity which the trio carried along with them, like a nimbus, as they moved down the road. When the outlying houses of Weydon Priors could just be descried, the family group was met by a turnip hoer with his hoe on his shoulder and his dinner bag suspended from it. "Any trade doing here?" the man asked phlegmatically. "Anything in the hay-trussing line?" The turnip hoer had already begun shaking his head. "Why, save the man. What wisdom's in him that I should have come to Weydon for a job of that sort this time of year?" The hay-trusser, which he obviously was, nodded with some superciliousness. Looking towards the village, he continued, "There is something going on here, however, is there not?" "Aye, 'tis fair day." The trusser and his family proceeded on their way, and soon entered the fair field. They looked around for a refreshment tent among the many which dotted the down. Two, which stood nearest to them, seemed almost equally inviting. One announced good home-brewed beer, ale, and cider. The other had a little iron stovepipe at the back, and in front the placard, "Good furmity sold here." The man mentally weighted the two inscriptions, and inclined to the former tent. No, the other one," said the woman. "I always like furmity. So does Elizabeth Jane, and so will you. It is nourishing after a long, hard day." "I've never tasted it," said the man. However, he gave way to her representations, and they entered the furmity booth forthwith. At the upper end, over a large three-legged crock, a haggish creature of about 50 presided in a white apron. She slowly stirred the contents of the pot. The young man and woman ordered a basin each of the wheat mixture, steaming hot, and sat down to consume it at leisure. After a mincing attack on his bowl, the man watched the hag's proceedings from the corner of his eye, and saw the game she played. He winked to her, and passed up his basin in a reply to her nod, when she took a bottle from under the table, slyly measured out a quantity of its contents, and tipped the same into the man's furmity. The liquor poured in was rum. The man as slyly sent back money in payment. He found the concoction thus strongly laced much more to his satisfaction, though his wife had observed the proceeding with much uneasiness. The man finished his basin and called for another, the rum being signalled for in yet stronger proportion. The effect of it was soon apparent in his manner. The auctioneer selling the old horses in the field outside could be heard saying, "Now this is the last lot. Now who'll take the last lot for a song? Shall I say 40 shillings? 'Tis a very promising brood mare, trifle over 5-year-old. Suddenly the hay-trusser announced, "For my part, I don't see why men who have got wives and don't want 'em shouldn't get rid of 'em, as these gypsy fellows do their old horses. Why shouldn't they put 'em up and sell 'em by auction to men who are in need of such articles, eh? Why, begad, I'd sell mine this minute if anybody would buy her." "Well, it's them that would do that," some of the other guests replied.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?